My name is Nick Bernier. I'm an attorney, and I live in the city of Fall River, Massachusetts. I'm running because I know I can make a difference. This is actually the third campaign I've worked on against Sheriff Hodgson. My first state campaign I was actively involved in. I was 18 years old, and I assisted Leo Pelletier. And when I was a prosecutor, I saw the same people going in and out of district court. They come in with a drug problem, they come back with a drug problem. And most likely they had a drug problem throughout their time in jail. That needs to stop. Are we safer now than we were 25 years ago? And the answer is just no. Why? Because people keep getting worse instead of having the chance to get better. For someone with a drug abuse problem, for someone with some mental health issues, well, why don't we give them some help? Do you really want them back in your neighborhood untreated? Well, I don't. I want my family to be safe. I have an 8-year-old daughter. I want to make her safe, and I want to make your family safe too. That's why I'm running for sheriff. Molly, she's entering third, so this is a few years ago, but it's still one of my favorites. Now she draws me shorter, so. Right now she wants to be a doctor and a cab driver. Doctor, cab driver. I chose this place because I love this area. I love the South Coast. From Fall River, grew up in Swansea, went to high school in Taunton. So many good friends in New Bedford. I feel like this is my home. I do not believe the sheriff of Bristol County should be sending inmates down to the border wall in Mexico. Or another way of putting that is using Massachusetts taxpayers' money to fund a president's, dream. It just didn't make any sense. It was clearly a publicity stunt, and I think it was a waste of time and county money. All while we have this rampant drug problem, and all while we have a crisis with this correctional officers. We can't keep enough correctional officers on staff. We can't keep enough social workers and mental health staff there, and all while his jails are suffering. So that ICE detention center, which was closed down, would make an amazing regional lockup. So one of my plans is to close the old Ash Street jail. It's over 100 years old. Lizzie Borden was a prisoner in there. It's embarrassing, and something else people don't think about, it's a money pit. You can't cook food in there. They're transferring resources from Dartmouth to New Bedford. It's a symbol for Sheriff Hodgson. He views Ash Street as being tough on crime. Meanwhile, is it worth how much money we're putting into it? Well, why don't we just use that vacant facility? We're gonna have to retrofit it because you need single cells. That's the only thing we'd have to do. And it's a great screening process because that ICE detention center had far fewer drugs in it than the neighboring Dartmouth facility. So why don't we learn from that? Why don't we screen better? Why don't we use that facility, shut down Ash Street, and do something with the state? The secret is that it's not really the sheriff's responsibility. It's state property. It'll go through the state. So it won't be the sheriff's decision. I mean, I would love for it to be a halfway house or a museum or really anything productive in the city of New Bedford, but anyone elected in that position, anyone in that position just won't have that much control. So I believe a private-public partnership would be great. Turn that into a museum and then maybe use some of the facilities nearby as a halfway house. I think that would be amazing. So I unfortunately lost a friend in part due to this. He had bipolar disorder. He was being treated with lithium. He committed a stupid crime, and he had to serve some time. Unfortunately, he had to wait. It was about 3 months for him to actually receive his proper dosage of lithium. And lithium is not one of those drugs you can turn on and off. And that's a problem actually not just in Bristol County, but especially in Bristol County because we're so tough on crime. We really need to work on making sure inmates, if they're prescribed proper medication, that they continue to receive it, not only for their benefit, but also think about this if you're a correctional officer. Do you really want someone who's off their medication? And I think that's part of what needs to change. We need to provide better working conditions for our correctional officers and related staff, and part of that is making sure our inmates are properly medicated. I respect the sheriff. I think he's a very nice person. He's clearly a great politician, but I disagree vehemently with his policies. Jail needs to be punitive a little bit. It needs to be a little bit uncomfortable. But at the same time, it can't just be hard time. You have to give people the opportunity to make themselves better. But I know that we can make Bristol County better. I know that the recidivism, or the revolving door, needs to get better. And I believe I can do that.